Hey everyone, it's Alexander Robinson. Welcome to the channel, and this is my review for The Holdovers, which is the latest movie from Alexander Payne, and it stars Paul Giamatti. The movie takes place in the 1970s. Paul Giamatti plays a professor at a prep school who is that teacher that you've had at some point who is just overly strict and unreasonable to a certain extent, so you just hate the guy. Anyway, during the holiday season, he is assigned to watch out for any students who have nowhere to go during the holidays. And in this case, it's one student that he particularly doesn't like, because at the last minute, this student's mom went, "Oh, sorry, honey, I'm spending the holidays with my new boyfriend. Bye." Like, that's literally why this kid's here. So the entire movie basically involves these two characters, along with the school's cook, as they spend the holidays together with nobody else. Now, I haven't seen all of Alexander Payne's movies. The ones I have seen were Election, which I love, The Descendants, which was the first movie of his I saw, and I adore that film, Nebraska, which I thought was good, but I wouldn't have any desire to watch it again, and then Downsizing, which had a great premise that was completely squandered. That movie was such a colossal disappointment the year it came out, and that was his last movie. So now we've got The Holdovers, and going from a movie that I thought was a complete disappointment to one of my favorites of this year is a true step up. Now, I actually saw this movie a couple weeks back. The reason I didn't review it at the time was because I was heading to go on vacation at Universal Orlando. But at the time, it did get a limited release in theaters. It just recently went wide this past weekend, at the same time that the Marvels came out. So I figured with a wider release, now would be the best time to review this movie and tell you why it's so good. The movie has an excellent cast. Paul Giamatti gets top billing, and he delivers what may be one of his best performances in recent memory. He does such a good job at playing this character that you just flat out hate. There are certain points where you just side with the students and how irrational he can be when it comes to teaching, and just how stuck up he can be. There's also some really great lines throughout this movie that Paul Giamatti manages to knock out of the park. The script is quite tight. Going into this movie, I actually thought Alexander Payne was one of the writers, but instead the writer is David Hemington, and his script is just so good. And those one-liners that Paul Giamatti has, I wish I didn't wait this long to review the movie, because those are some lines that, if I can remember them, I'll be quoting them for years to come. Like, I think they're just that good and that funny. While this movie has a lot of funny moments throughout, it also has some very heartfelt moments. When we are first introduced to Paul Giamatti, we can look at him as a joke. But as the movie goes on, we get to learn more about his character, his past, and why he ended up being the person that he is, and it makes us grow a lot of sympathy for him. Same thing goes for the kid that Paul Giamatti is forced to look after during the holidays. The actor is Dominic Sessa, and this is his first movie, and he is really good. Again, much like with Paul Giamatti, he can be a little stuck up and just a flat-out prick. Then you start to learn more about his family, why he's the person he is, and even though these two characters just drive each other nuts throughout a lot of the movie, and it can be funny, there are a lot of dramatic moments between these two characters, and you grow to really sympathize with them by the time you get to the second half of the movie. And then you also have Joy Randolph, who plays the head cook of this school, and this is a role that in any other movie you probably wouldn't even think about. But the movie manages to give this character a tragic backstory and why she's staying at the school. And Joy Randolph gives an absolutely phenomenal performance. So good that I would bet money that she's in line for Best Supporting Actress. I think she's just that good. And at the end of the day, I found her to be the film's heart. She's the one that kind of brings everyone together in terms of being grounded, and she's phenomenal. I also really love the way this movie looks. It's a period piece film set in the 70s, but the movie doesn't feel the need to address the 70s or shove it in our faces. Other movies would go, hey, you remember this from the 70s? Hey, you remember that? Remember this piece of technology that was brand new at the time? Remember that hairstyle? Remember the fashion? That's not what this movie does. Instead, it feels more like a film that was shot in the 1970s and just recently discovered. They don't overdo it with the costumes, the hairstyle, the production design. Everything feels natural. And the movie even has those long fading transitions that you see in films of the 70s. Jaws had a lot of those fading transitions throughout the movie, and at a Q&A, Alexander Payne said, "Why don't more movies use this transition?" And I agree. I absolutely love this movie. I'm not quick to say that it's my absolute favorite movie of the year, but it's certainly going to stick around for my top 10. Easily a film that's worth seeing in your lifetime. I feel like this movie was made more for the people that don't have anywhere to go during the most wonderful time of the year. When this movie was done, I was reminded of The Apartment from 1960, where it's got a lot of comedy throughout, moments that will have you laughing out loud, but at the same time, it's a very real movie. It doesn't take as dark of a turn like The Apartment did, but it feels very real. You enjoy these characters, and it's just one of those weird holiday movies that maybe I could see being in rotation. I don't know if I'd put this movie on rotation every year, but I can see this being one of those movies that certain people might want to watch every holiday season. And there you go, that's my review for The Holdovers. I hope you enjoyed it, and now I want to know what you guys think about the movie. If you've seen it, what did you think? Whatever the case may be, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell button to get notifications. You can also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Letterboxd, Threads. I'll see you guys in the next video, but until then, have a good day and take care of yourselves.